the participants want to, thank you so much for that. Yeah, in case you want to watch the session or recap on a couple of tools or strategies that our wonderful panelists will share during the session, you can always feel free to come back to it. Yes, and then the other thing is, of course, with all sessions or any kind of event, we always want to ensure that the entrepreneurs have a chance to network and learn about each other, and also see whether there's an opportunity to collaborate or even do joint programs or partnerships, or even opportunities that might come across. So please feel free to use the chat function, introduce your name, the name of your business, add your social media channels. Do not be shy of doing that. This is your enterprise and you should feel very proud of it. And it's supposed to be a way of you putting the word out there about what you do. So today's session, the topic for today is leveraging digital solutions amid challenges in the social enterprise space. And I'll just give a bit of a preamble as we begin setting the stage for this session. So digital platforms and other technology-based tools are providing new growth opportunities for businesses of all sizes and industries in Africa and at the world at large. Social enterprises, especially in Africa, they need to leverage technology and digitization to recover and reconnect to the global economy during and after the pandemic. Technology today is helping to forge new global linkages, which offer enormous economic opportunities. However, they also present new risks and challenges that I feel that most of us as entrepreneurs need to be aware of and also find ways of mitigating that. To help us, sorry, I think there's someone who's unmuted. Harriet. Harriet, please mute on your end. Perhaps also Hilda, you can, sorry, Matilda, you can help me on that one. So just to help us really unpack these concepts and understand better on how us as social enterprises can really leverage on digital solutions, we have a panelist of three wonderful guests with us, and I'll just read through their bios so that also you understand who they are. And I'll ask them kindly just to turn on their video so that you can also be able to see them as we do the introductions. In no particular order, I'll start with Ngui Kimani. She's the Executive Director at BLab East Africa. Ngui is enthusiastic to work in the entrepreneurship ecosystem and to be part of a team that offers digital and impact solutions to entrepreneurs. BLab East Africa is a non-for-profit organization that is based in Nairobi, Kenya, working to transform the economy in Africa to benefit all people, communities, and the planet. They are part of the big global network of independent and interdependent organizations driving economic systems change. They also create the best class in standards, policies, and tools for businesses and certify companies known as B Corp, as B corporations, or in short, B Corp, who are leading the way. They are also intentional about creating lasting global change. So Ngui, welcome, and we're happy to have you. You'll also give us that global outlook as well as the local outlook, which we'll really appreciate in this discussion. The second one that I want to introduce is Jacob Rungano. He's the founder of Gari Mkononi. Jacob was listed among the 2016 top 40 under 40 men in Kenya by Business Daily. He founded Africa Track International after developing a mobile controlled road accident control system that uses a mobile phone to reduce accidents on the road. At Gari Mkononi, they have created an app which helps vehicle owners to have full control of their cars from the comfort of their hands. Thank you so much, Jacob, for being part of this discussion as you're a real entrepreneur using digital to solve a pertinent problem in the road sector. The third and final panelist that I have is Esther Gavigi. Yes, she's the country director of Digital Opportunity Trust. Esther is passionate about transforming communities through empowering youth to create innovative digital solutions. DOT, or Digital Opportunity Trust, is a youth-led movement of daring social innovators who have the tools, the knowledge, and networks to create opportunities and transform their own communities. They support youth to become innovators and leaders and to create and apply digital solutions that have positive impact in their communities. Welcome so much, Esther. It's really happy to have you here. So as you can see, we have a wonderful panel of experts who are able to showcase the different expertise, and it will also give us the case studies on how us as social enterprises can actually leverage digital solutions. So I think I can introduce myself. My name is Mercy Kimalat. I am the E4 Impact. I work for E4 Impact Foundation in Kenya, and I do the partnerships and communications. So happy to have you and also to moderate the session. So just to begin, because we have a lot of exciting things to get into, I'd start the first question, and I think I can pose it to Ngui. With the wake of COVID-19, the use of digital solutions has really accelerated in the past 1 year. How important is it for the social enterprises to digitize their operations?
Thanks, Mercy. It's a pleasure to be here. You know, we are entering what we call the fourth industrial revolution. You're beginning to hear conversations about artificial intelligence, about blockchain, social media is taking over. And I think that this is the direction in which we are headed. And so as social enterprises or as businesses in general, it is important for businesses to start thinking about what kind of online presence they would like to have. Because if you're not online, do you even exist? You know, you and I, when we are going somewhere and we want to take an Uber, we go on Google Maps. Where is this place? What's their website? How do I get there? We have to be able to find you online. So that's one key thing. I mean, it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to pick all the platforms, but you need to pick the one that is most relevant with your industry. The second thing is customer engagement. We all suffered when they sent us home during COVID. The businesses that remained on top were those who could engage their customers virtually, could keep in touch with them, could market their products virtually, could deliver services, could network online. And that's the direction, again, like I said, we are heading. So you have to be able to, first of all, have a database of who are your customers so that you can engage with them even in the absence of physical presence. Gone are the days where you sit in the office and wait for your customer to walk in. Right now, you have to have your customer profiles and have them accessible so that you know that, for example, if you are supplying groceries, let's say, you know that this, my customer, this is what she likes in her basket. And at the end of the week, this is what she usually orders. So you don't wait for her to order. You send her a message and says, would you like me to deliver this, that, and the other? And that's how you make sure that you stay relevant. We have found very many sessions like this one where you network online, and you had given instructions earlier. Put your name, put your phone number, talk about your business in the chat room. It's not enough just to come and attend a session and listen to panelists talk, but who else is in the session with you, who you can learn from, or whose contact might be interesting for you. And that's how networking, seems like this is the new face of networking. At B-Lab, we used to have a physical office, right? And we used to do happy hours every so often and have our B Corps come and invite people to come. We talk, we chat, but with COVID protocols now, hardly anybody does that. So how do you maintain contact with your ecosystem when you're on lockdown? So networking is another thing that you will benefit from in being digital. And because I don't want to exhaust all, I'll just add the last thing is training. There are so many training sessions that you see online right now. I think Google even came up with free courses. There are free social media courses, free digital marketing courses, because there is this understanding that this is where we are heading to, and business people, especially the older ones who have been in business forever, sitting in their kiosk and people coming to buy from them, you have to change. And change is hard, right? But if we want to stay relevant in this fourth industrial revolution, we have to get online. You have to have a working phone. You have to have a smartphone. You have to be, if you don't have a smartphone yet, you have to find your friendly cyber person where you can go and sit down and listen to what's happening. Take these training courses, put your business online, gather your data, collect it, save it, use it to market your product so that you can stay relevant.
Excellent points coming in, Bangui, and very practical. I also want to throw back the same question back to Jacob, and then we'll come to Esther.
Hi, everyone. Would I kindly request for you to come again on the question?
Sorry, I was on mute. With the wake of COVID-19, the use of digital solutions has really accelerated in the past 1 year. So how important is it for social enterprises or even just normal businesses to really digitize? Whether it's their operations or accessing digital tools to actually do their work.
Thank you. So, hi everyone. My name is Jacob, a co-founder of a company called Africa Track, and my feedback on that, I think it's the direction every company is going. Our company is a social enterprise that is based on ICT, and we solve the problems in the market, especially road accidents and poor fleet management through ICT or through IT. And I think on this one, most of the companies, even in our industry, we have had to shift all of our operations on digital. I think in the office, initially we used to have about 15 people. Currently, we are only keeping a team of about 6 people. Everybody else is having to work from home, and all the other activities that we initially had, including marketing, where we would go to the customers direct, we now started looking at how can we run our operations online or on digital space. For example, how do we market our products? How do we market our products in other ways that don't necessarily involve us going to the customers directly? So my point is, I think especially for the key elements as a startup, all the key elements of the company, you have to identify them and shift them to the digital space, because those ones have to operate. So for example, is marketing a key aspect of the company? So that has to be shifted online. Is finance a key aspect of the company? That has to be shifted online, and all the key aspects of the company, those ones have to operate. And for them to operate well, we have to shift them to the online space.
Hello, hi, Mercy. Sorry to interrupt. I can see our CEO, Mr. Peter, has joined the session. And sorry, can you just give him a bit of a few minutes to just introduce himself? Go on, Mr. Peter.
Okay, sure. Okay, sure.
Okay, yeah, good morning, everybody. I've tried to put my video on, but I think I have issues with I'm joining using my phone. So yes, my name is Peter Olo. First of all, apologies for interrupting the session. I'm currently in another meeting. I sit in the FinTrinet, the Finance, Trade and Investment Council, driven by KEPSA, the UN and all that. And today is when we are launching. I've just jumped out just to come and say hi. So we are glad you are here, and we truly appreciate our panelists, our members, and all our guests who have attended. So I don't want to really take much to talk, but allow you to continue. I'll be jumping out like in the next 10 minutes to rejoin, because I need to do a presentation at the FinTrinet Council Lounge. So thank you so much, and feel welcome. Asanteni.
Thank you very much. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much, Mr. Peter. So Esther, also we'd like to get your thoughts on that, and even you can also share a bit of how DOT has been able to digitize some of its operations.
Thank you, Mercy. And I think I'm just going to echo what the rest of the panelists have said. And it's one of the things that the pandemic has shown us is the importance of being ready for disruptions. When when it started, we thought it was going to be something short term. You know, we thought in a month, 2 months, maybe 3 at most, we're going to be back in the office. And here we are, almost going on 1.5 years, approaching 2 years in a few short months, and we are still seeing constant disruptions and changes. And one of the things that we have seen is that, and for businesses to continue to be to outlive any challenges that they may face, you have to be ready for disruptions, and convert yourself very fast, change yourself and your operations. And I think one of the most important things and one of the quickest way to do that is by going digital. And one of the things that it helps with going digital is improving your customers' experience, which digital has come in to help. So if you're not taking up digital solutions, if you're not utilizing digital skills, then your competition is already, and your competition is doing that, then you're putting yourself at a disadvantage. Two, the digitization opens to you the world. Before, you probably were serving 1-2 customers within your locality. The beauty of digital solutions is now you're able to sell your products and services across the world. The world now becomes your oyster. You're not limited to where you're currently present. You know, a lot of organizations are starting to create opportunities for even small scale traders. You have the likes of Etsy, where you can put in your homemade goods and be able to sell them internationally. Amazon is creating opportunities. DHL is supporting entrepreneurs to be able to ship their products all over the world. So by catching up with digital revolutions, then you're able to access customers and improve your customer service across the world. It also helps. Another thing that digitization helps with is reducing your overhead costs. And this is something, even as DOT, that we have adapted. Before, we had a huge office where everyone used to come together to congregate and work from. And now we cut down our office space by almost half. We have less than half of the team that works from the office. In fact, we do shift system where 2 days a week we have half the team, or half the team who would like to access the office, and the rest of the time people are working from home. And this has improved productivity. It's allowed staff to be more flexible, but at the same time, for us, it has reduced overhead. So how can you improve on your business, even business profits, by improving efficiencies in your business by digitizing? It could be digitization of records, it could be digitization of your processes, and this will go into improving your quality and improving your reach and your business throughout the world. So it is very important for anyone in business to catch up to digitization. I think Gwyn talked something about disruption, and all industries are open to disruption. If you looked at the hotel industry before, you know, you had to go through this process of booking your hotel, deciding where you're going to stay, paying, you know, and you're limited to certain areas where the hotels are available. And then Airbnb comes and says, you know what, you have an extra room in your house, you can convert that. And it allowed people to travel, it opened the world for people, and travel became more affordable, accommodation became more affordable. And the hotel industry, yes, was comfortable in where it was. So in whether or not you're getting into an industry where traditionally everyone has been comfortable with where it is, there is an opportunity to disrupt. There is an opportunity to increase efficiency in whichever industry you're in, make your product and service more accessible to your customers, make it even accessible to a new section of customers who are not previously being reached by the solutions that were there in the market. So I'll stop there, and if anyone has any other point, maybe they can jump in and add.
You know, I'm just loving how, you know, all these great points, and I don't want to, you know, summarize everything, because actually I can see there's a lot of cross-cutting points that are coming from the three of you. And I just picking up on that one for improving customer experience, right? So as much as we are improving our processes internally as a social enterprise, what are some of the things that actually digital solutions can actually help us increase our competitive advantage and even deliver value to our customers, our donors, our beneficiaries? I just want to get a bit of also thoughts on that, on even how from an external focus, right? So we focus so much on the internal processes as a business, but now how does digital solutions really help you as a social enterprise really deliver more value to your different beneficiaries, at the same time remain competitive across the sector? I think we can do the same format, Ngui, Jacob, and then Esther. Over to you.
So Mercy, I had mentioned earlier in brief about customer engagement. I think that if all of us are in business to service a customer, and whether your customer is another business or your customer is a direct consumer, so B2B or B2C. And I would say that a customer, me as a customer, I'd like to feel understood and heard. So if I have a service provider who knows what I want and caters to my specific need, I'm more likely to go there for the customer service versus going somewhere else that might be cheaper. So when you're talking about a competitive advantage, one of the ways that you can think about a competitive advantage is, how do my customers feel? Do I know my customer's name? Do I just say good morning, or do I say good morning, Wing? Do I know that it is Ngwing calling? You know, did I sell something to Ngwing the last time she came? So when she calls me again, I ask, so how did that thing work for you? Can I enhance your experience by offering this or that and the other? So a personalized service, whether digitally or in general business, that's what the customer wants. I'm also a customer who doesn't want to be filling forms all the time I'm ordering something. Every time I go to your website, I complete the same form. Every time it gets annoying. Now, does your website have a tool that keeps my data, so that when I come back to replenish my order and I log in, it's there, and then I just edit it, right? So how annoying it is that you're ordering the same thing and you have to put your name, your email address, your delivery location, etc. So when you're thinking about making your business digital, don't think about it from the extent of only from the point of view of you as the service provider or the business provider. It's not only what is going to make your business easier, which is what we've talked about in the first round, but also what is going to make your customer experience easier, because they are more likely to interact with a platform where it resonates with them, where they feel like, oh, this is not just a robot. This business gets me, versus, just generalizing things for your customer, where you're making your digitization only business centric. How does it streamline your processes? How does it make your work easier? But does it make the work for your customer easier? Are you tracking the feedback? Are you even providing a platform for them to give you feedback on how you can do better next time, so that you can provide a better service next time? Do you acknowledge when you hear back from them? So the customers really is the key to a successful business. So how do you meet them where they feel comfortable? So service delivery and customer engagement for me would be top. Yeah.
I love how you've talked about like the customer journey. So like the digital tools can literally help the entrepreneur map out the customer journey and actually identify what are the touch points that each customer needs to be interacting with your system or your business. And then from there, design a solution that actually makes the work easier for your customer. Like, for example, not filling in so many forms so many times, right? And I think I love that, Ngui. Jacob, also would like to hear your thoughts on that. And even feel free to also share examples of how you're doing it at AfriTrack or Gari Mkononi.
Okay, and I think I really appreciate that point. So my thoughts are it's easier. I've noticed a general trend where it's easier now to reach out to the customers, whether when you are doing a customer service or during the marketing process. It's easier. It's much better, and you can access a wider pool of customers or the potential customers, as opposed to when we were doing the actual client visit. It's now easier to reach out when you are reaching out to them on email. I've also realized that we, as a company, you tend to allocate more resources to the core activities. For example, marketing, customer service, because your overheads are reduced. So you generally tend to allocate more resources to the core activities, maybe marketing and customer service, and even the employees, maybe on the third one, the employees, they tend to work better when they are working from home. Everybody, or most people, especially the mothers, they find it quite a task to balance between work and family. And when we are generally working from on the digital space, it's they have more time for their family, and they end up uh, working much better. However, I think it's good to highlight the fact that at the same time, when you are one exposure that kind of becomes a challenge that every entrepreneur has to be careful is the data exposure. When you're working on the digital space, it's easy for your data to easily be shared with even competitors, unlike when you're not working on the digital space. So I think also every entrepreneur has to check the issue of the data exposure, the company data exposure, and how you can mitigate yourself from that. Thank you.
No, thank you so much, Jacob, on that one. I love the fact that, there's now more allocation to the core services that actually generate the revenue. That is on marketing and service delivery, but then also bringing that important aspect of data security and also exposure. Great. Thank you so much for that. Esther, we'd also like to hear your thoughts on that.
Yeah, sure. I think one of the most important things in ensuring that you're increasing value and you're remaining competitive, again, just like the panelists have said, is improving the experience of the customer. That is very important in your business. Are you actually taking time to consider what challenges the customer is facing in accessing your product or service? Do they have to jump over hoops, travel the seas just to get access to a product? And one of the things we see, especially for those who have online shopping experiences, is, and it even became a meme at a certain point where everyone was saying, the minute you tell me DM for prices, I'm not buying a product or service from you, because why are you taking me round and round in circles? Whereas I came online to improve my experience. I just want to know, this is a product I want to buy. What is the cost of it? How long is it going to take to get to me? Once you start complicating that process and bringing out other aspects of, you need to DM me, or I want additional details, then you lose me as a customer. Are you taking that into consideration? What challenges am I facing to access your product or service? Two, also still on access, how easy is it for me to be able to, what vehicles are you using for your customers to be able to access your products? So you could say you're located in Mombasa or wherever it is that you're located in. How easy is it for you to move your product and service to get it to Nairobi? Are you open to collaboration with other people who would solve that supply chain, would create that solution for you? Or are you stuck in, this is the way I carry out my business, and you need to access my product as I have presented it to you? Another thing is utilizing social media data. So you have your various platforms which you're engaging with your customer. Are you utilizing the data that you're getting from the social media engines to improve, again, the customer experience? Are you engaging with your customer and getting feedback from them to improve on your product and services? Think about something as simple as a mobile phone. When the mobile phones got into the industry, they were very big and very inconvenient to use. Had the providers of these services and this product said, that is how we were able to create the product and you need to consume it as we have presented it to you, we wouldn't be where we are now. So they took the customer feedback, the customer saying, it's too bulky, I need it to fit in my pocket. Now I have this device and I have another one for emails. How can you combine those? So are you taking the customer feedback that you're getting and using that to improve your products and services and stay ahead of the competition? Or are you seeing it as criticism and stopping the improvements in your products and services? They're undermining the growth potential of your business, because you're scared to take feedback, because you don't want to take the negative feedback and filter through the noise and understand that this is an improvement for an offering for your customers.
No, those are very practical tips. I mean, I think one of the key things that I'm really picking out of this, and everything else is really critical, is that the fact that even as you're designing the customer journey map and identifying the key touch points that your business is interacting with the customers, we also need to have a feedback mechanism, right? So for example, like I've seen how Windows, they ask you, like at the end of is it the Teams app? They ask you what's the feedback of the call, 1, 2, and use the star functionality to actually select the experience that you're having. So feedback doesn't have to be a very long, complicated form, but really a quick survey. And I think I love the fact that you're saying that we need to use that kind of feedback from the customers to keep adapting, right, our products and services, so that we can keep growing. And that actually will help us build a competitive advantage as a social enterprise. I feel like we can spend the entire day just speaking about this, but now we're just moving on to the second critical question on sustainability, as it's one of the things that keep the founders awake, is that sustainability is one of the challenges that social enterprises face. What are some of the digital strategies that the entrepreneurs can actually use to fundraise and even generate revenue for the long term? I think I can start again also with Ngui, Jacob, and then Esther.
Thanks, Mercy. I think in your question, I am in an environment where sustainability to us represents the viability of your business beyond today, and also the effect of your business on the environment. I think because of your follow-up question on fundraising, I believe that here in this question, you might be talking about the business continuity. That's correct? Okay, so having that in mind, I'll talk a little bit about our B Impact Assessment tool and why I think that this tool is great for businesses to use. This is a free tool that is online. It measures a business's impact on 5 different areas: your governance structures, your workers, your impact on the community, your environment, and your customers. I think that a digital tool like this can help a business in the sense that the questions that this tool asks you, it helps you set your business on the right foundation for success. So if you're looking at your governance structures and it's talking about what is your mission as a company, it's defined, it's talking about what are your financial policies and practices. When you look at your workers, it's talking about what kind of people do you employ, what benefits do you give them, what training and education do you give them. I think one of the things that helped some of our B Corps during this pandemic season is the relationship that they had with their workers, where your workers can clearly see that this is a bad season, and they go above and beyond to help your business survive, so that you as the CEO or you as the founder of the business are not the only one shouldering the burden for the organization. So that even if it means you have to wait to get paid or you have to pivot, you can bring your workers along with you on this journey and brainstorm solutions to move on, because that relationship with your employees, I mean, someone who might be in the admin section is now joining you to do marketing, is now thinking with you, how can we do to improve your business? Because they have bought in to your mission, and the way you've treated them in the past, they feel like this is their business also. So that's key. When you're thinking about business sustainability, it's not only financial. Of course, financial is important, but who are the people who you're working with in your business that can help you weather the storm? So also when you think about the community in which you operate, there's an article that I read that said Japanese businesses Japan has more legacy businesses than any other country in the world. And this is because a lot of the time they are community centric. So your business is operating in the community, and then your community is bought into your business as well because you've hired from the community. They can see the work that you're doing, you give back to the community. So your business is part of them. So when you're struggling, your community rallies around you to see how to help you to succeed. But if you're running a business that has a reputation for littering, for dumping waste, for example, like in Kisumu, the businesses that are throwing their waste in the lake, etc., you don't have a good relationship with your community. They are not inclined to want you to survive. In fact, they want you to die. They want your business to die so that maybe they'll get a different business that will be beneficial to them. So how are you treating the community in which you operate? Think also about the environment. We have B Corps, like one of our B Corps, Ecotulibrum, in Kakamega, where they notice that people go into the forest and get wood and burn it for cooking, etc. And so for them, they want the forest to survive. So they plant trees, and then they've come up with briquettes as alternative methods for cooking. They've come up with cook stoves that use less, emit less waste, and they are more useful for the people in the community. And then they have also created an opportunity for the women to sell these cook stoves to generate revenue for themselves. So you see, the women are beholden to this business because it's a job. They are salespeople, right? The community is beholden to them because they are conserving the forest. They are also innovating around that, isn't it? And so when you get into problems, guess who is going to rally around you? So you also have to be thinking about, minus the individuals in the community, how is the environment benefiting from your presence as a business? So that said, going back to the issue of digitalization and having an online presence, when you're going to ask for funding, whether it's bridge funding for your business or it is an investor, etc., how will an investor, for example, in South Africa, give money to your business if you don't have an online presence? They have not been seeing what you're doing in the community. They have not been seeing the different environmental sustainability projects you've been working on. They have not been seeing how you are struggling to survive during the pandemic. They haven't seen you encouraging your peers on social media. When they Google you, they don't even find you. So even when you go to the bank and you're telling the bank, even your local bank, saying, I want a loan, and the bank Googles your business and finds nothing. This is when they start telling you, bring me collateral from here to there, because you have zero footprint. They can't find anything about you. Why would they give you money? Why would they give you bridge financing? But if you have a reputation and people have seen everything that you have been doing as a business and how you're benefiting the community, they know your business will take a while, but it will not fail. They have trust in you. They will give you money. So I think that when we are thinking about sustainability or business continuity, we need to go beyond thinking about financial only, because it is not only financial sustainability that will make your business work. If you don't have buy-in and goodwill, and you don't have good governance structures in your business might not succeed.
Great points, Ngui. I don't even want to repeat all that. You're right. Jacob, over to you. Maybe perhaps as Jacob is reconnecting, Esther, maybe you can share also. Yeah.
Sure. I think one of the key things around sustainability of a business is, from the very beginning, you need to be clear on what your goal is of the business. Is your goal to be self-employed? So you just want to be employed for the period to generate some revenue for yourself over a certain period? Or is your goal, like Gwen said, to build a legacy business, a business that is going to outlive you, that you can be able to hand over once you're done, and build something that is going to outlast the period in which you're going to be on this earth. So what are the goals of you starting the business? Because from the very beginning, then you're able to put in systems and processes that will ensure that the business is able to operate even without you, when and if you're not there. Two, it is very important to understand the audience. So when it comes to fundraising, the way you communicate to a donor, the way you communicate to a potential financier is very different from the way you communicate to a customer. A customer is interested in how the product serves them. You know, what need are you fulfilling for me as a customer? A financier, a donor, is interested in what impact are you creating, especially when it comes to social enterprises. You know, if they're funding you based on your impact, they want to see results. They want to you know, you have to be able to show that if you give me this amount of funding, then this is the impact I'm going to be able to deliver. It's very different. You know, you may have to change your product delivery methods. You may have to change some processes. But again, for them, what is important for them is, are you creating impact? If it's a bank, they want to see, are you able to generate enough revenue to pay me back my money? So that you have to understand the audiences and be able to create communication that is relevant to the different audiences that you're reaching out to. Something else that's very important is to build a team. You know, a financier wants to see that your business is stable. And just like Gwen was saying, once you build the team, you have loyal people who are staying with you no matter the challenges you're facing. And again, a financier is also able to see that you have built a team that understands the business, that is able to weather the storms with you, that is able to provide the correct services, that is able to follow the processes and procedures, and will ensure that you continue generating revenue in the long term, which gives them the confidence then to give you the funds that you require to continue running your business. Something that's very important, research, research, research. You have to take time to research your donors. You have to take time to research your financial institutions. If you're going to a bank, do you understand what they want? Do you understand why they want it? Do you understand the ins and outs of your business? When you're asked, where do you see your business in 5 years? Okay, so you have a dream of reaching 1 million customers. How are you going to achieve that? Are you able to articulate in details how you're able to reach, how you're going to grow that from wherever you are? If you're at 10,000 customers, how you're going to reach 1 million customers? How and what that growth rate is going to be? What is that projection going to look like? It's, you know, we all have dreams, but then being able to break it down into small milestones and say that if you give me 10,000, I will put it to A, B, C, D, and this is how I am going to be able to grow. And you're able to understand what the donor wants to see, what they want to, what they need from you to be able to give you access to this funding. That makes a very, very big difference, because each and every donor is different. Each and every financial institution is different. You will speak to one donor, they will tell you, I want to see a safeguarding profile. I want to see what your policy is on safeguarding. A different donor is going to tell you what is your environmental sustainability policy, and maybe you don't have that. So you need to read through when you're reaching out to any donor. You need to understand what their processes are. What are their goals also? Are they looking for someone who is creating impact? Are they looking for someone who is able to pay back any funds if they're going to advance funds to you? Or are they looking for that, that sustainability? They're saying, if you're creating this impact, you're generating this kind of impact over a long period of time, then we're willing to advance you a grant. So again, research is very important when you're trying to fundraise or looking for ways to bring in some cash flow through funding opportunities.
No, thank you so much. That's really, I mean, wow. You should see my notebook. I have like 3 pages already of notes. And I hope also the entrepreneurs are taking down some keynotes, but of course we will definitely share the recording. I'm just keeping an eye on the time. I want to move on to the third key component. And I also see that Jacob is back. Impact is such a key pillar for the social enterprises. How then can they use digital tools to really track, measure, and even communicate their impact that they're delivering? And just additional question to that is if they're already doing so, so they maybe perhaps have an Excel sheet or they're using an online tool, impact measurement tool for already tracking, how then do you think a digital solution can actually help them scale their impact? Perhaps we can start with you, and then Esther, and then also Jacob can also chip in.
Thanks. In terms of measuring their impact, I just put in the chat the link to the BIA. I'm mindful of time, so I won't chat a lot. But what we have found is that a lot of times when investors approach us looking for impact-driven businesses to invest in, one of the reasons they do so is because our B impact assessment tool is globally recognized. And so they know that when a business has used this tool and has a score of above 80, then their impact is sort of is ready to be verified, right? So that's one of the ways that you can measure your impact. And again, the tool is free to use, so there's nothing stopping from any business at any size to use that tool. I think that to scale your impact or to amplify your impact, there are several things that you can think about doing. A lot of times, there's probably a partner that you can work with or a fellow business with the same values that you can align with to deliver your service. You would find that most of the time, problems are not new. They might be new in your locality or new in your country, but other countries have faced the similar problems. And so there are ways that you can learn from previous people's experience, but we find that with partnerships, you can go a long way. The other way that you can scale your impact is by telling your story. So again, using digital platforms to tell your story. We say that one of the advantages of becoming a B Corp is that you join like-minded businesses to amplify your voice, right? So the social enterprise space is relatively new for us here. Although if you look back at our history or our traditions, businesses used to operate as social enterprises anyway. They just never used to call themselves that. But learning how to tell your story about the impact that you're having, it puts consumers' eyes towards your business, isn't it? In such a way that if I'm going to get a service, I would rather use your business because I know that there's the added benefit of the community benefiting from me purchasing your product versus maybe using an imported product or one that doesn't have social impact. But if you don't tell your story, and if people don't know that this is why you're doing this business, and this is how many people are benefiting from the presence of your business, your impact remains stagnant or your business doesn't grow because people don't know.
Thank you for that, Ngui. Esther, and then Jacob.
I'm sure. I think one of the most important things in a social entrepreneur's journey is the impact, and you have to be able to measure that impact. And the easiest way to do it is, again, using free platforms, free online digital tools that will enable you to be able to gather data and know what impact you're creating. It's very important to use this data in a way that is going to help you see whether you're on the right track. So when you started your business, you had a goal. Maybe you had a goal to plant trees. You see that your locality, a lot of people, and I've used Gwen's example that she had used, where an organization sees that in a certain community, there's a lot of tree cutting that is taking place, and now we want to cut trees. How do they measure the impact of what they're doing? Are they able to utilize a free solution, maybe like geotagging, that is able, that even if they're not physically there, they're able to say, here is a track of the places where we have planted trees, and this is the progress that we are seeing. Here's the impact we are seeing. There's an improvement that we are seeing within that community, and that helps them again tell their stories to other organizations, tell their stories to donors, tell your story to other customers, so that they see the impact of what they're doing. The benefit of measuring your data is that you're able to diagnose if there are any challenges. Data is able to tell you what are the challenges that you're facing. You can be able to see what ways can you reduce your cost or challenges that you're coming across. It helps you with planning. You're able to say, when you're analyzing your data, you're able to say, okay, I have enough information to show me how to scale or how to improve on my product and solution. You get to know what is happening in certain geographical locations by gathering data. It helps you in monitoring what is going on. The feedback that you're getting allows you to be, to gain understanding in what the experience of the customer is, what the experience of your beneficiaries is, and how to continue improving that process. It helps you evaluate on whether what solutions you're actually providing are making an impact. You could be thinking that, yes, you are creating impact, but yet, there's harm that is coming about from your idea. So data will help you see, be able to be even more accountable to yourself as an organization, but also to your consumers. It's important for sharing. It's a learning process. It's a way to engage your audiences. It's a way to share what you're finding. So, and you're sharing this with multiple stakeholders. Your customers need to know what are the success stories. By digitizing, this is the improvements that we've seen. It's become more cost efficient. So it gives you access to other organizations. If you are already collecting data, then one of the things I would say in terms of scaling is widen your scope. So maybe you're looking at one area of your data. Talk to someone who is able to do that data, get deeper into the data analysis, and give you a wider scope of what is going on. Keep your questions light. I think one of the challenges we face when interacting with most organizations is the length of surveys. So yes, I'm willing to give you feedback, but the amount of time that I'm going to spend providing that feedback through a survey is too long. So I end up having interaction fatigue. I want to move on to something else. So keep your questions very short and concise. If you have quick ways, again, using online platforms, online forms, whether it's a Google form, creating something very quick and light that someone is able to quickly answer and move on to something else, that will give you a lot more access to data that you can use to improve your offering and your surveys. Again, utilizing other tools, free tools, make sure you're storing that data correctly, that you're taking care of people's data. It's very important to ensure that you're not exposing my data to other organizations. So yeah, those are the points that I would give towards impact.
No, thank you so much, Esther, for that. I just want to ask the audience, I can see right now it's 12:06. Can you please allow us maybe an additional 10 minutes just to wrap up, and then we can close the session. So apologies for going over time, but we are actually requesting for at least 10 minutes just to wrap up, get a few ideas, and then close the session. So Jacob, perhaps you can, in 1 minute, share your thoughts with us. I hope you're back. Yeah.
Can you hear me now? So Mercy,
Yes.
maybe I'll touch, as I answer that, I'll also touch on the earlier question. So
Yes,
I think
please.
data in this case we can look at it, or it's good to look at it from both the community, the impact of the company from to the community and to the customer. And I will share on the chat a very good link that you can use, or a company can use, or a business or an organization can use to know in those two aspects, how much impact are you having on the community? And then number two, how much impact are you having to the customers? I'll share it on the chat. And then it's also key when considering this on data protection, like I had mentioned earlier. I realized as we are measuring and as the earlier speaker has spoken about the data collection, I want to emphasize on what she mentioned about protecting that data from the customers. So because I realized much later when you were measuring we were measuring the impact, or when we measure the impact in our community, there are some people who are very key on their data. So this link that I'll share on the chat is very important. To touch on the earlier issue, I apologize, my laptop had gone off, but when you're talking about raising finances, I'll also share another page on the chat, maybe keenly focusing on how then, as we were talking about raising finances, how then can we raise finances from investors or from the external sources? We still do that online without necessarily going to the investors, especially during such a time. Very few investors, whether social impact investors or the financial investors, will give you an audience. Most of them will prefer an online finance mobilization. So I'll share a link that is very good in where you put your business or you put your organization, and then the investors can access your business from there. And I've seen actually most of the businesses, I have friends who have gotten funded without necessarily meeting their investors through the platform that I'll share. So thank you.
Thank you, Jacob. And I think actually you've been able to answer Daniel's question on the chat on how this program can tap into donors from Norway and Scandinavia, and that is literally by using an online platform. I wanted to ask if there's any question that has come through. Matilda, have you seen any other question in the chat? Perhaps we can just take one question from the audience and then do final takeaways and wrap up. Okay, thank you.
So far, no questions. But I can see Benedetta is concurring with the point in terms of being community centric. Yeah. Then people can continue typing in their questions. Then we can pick that up as we wrap up.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Yeah, so please continue writing your questions. We may not be able to address them here, but we'll definitely send them to the panelists, and then we can compile and send you an email as a follow-up to this session. So in just maybe under 30 seconds or just 30 seconds, what are the key parting shots that you might have as we wrap up the session? I'll start, let me start with a different order. Esther, we can start with you, and then we go to Ngui and then Jacob. What are your key takeaway or the parting shot?
My key parting shot is be ready to disrupt. Check your processes, check your, gather data, use the data correctly, and disrupt everybody. Everyone is ready to disrupt. Everyone is ready to be disrupted. So be the leader in disrupting. Use the digital platforms to change the way you do business, to improve your business processes, to improve resilience, network. The digital space, the fourth industrial revolution has opened up the world for us. Take advantage of that and keep pushing forward.
I like that. Okay, be ready to disrupt. Ngui?
I'd say don't assume the impact that you're having. Be diligent in tracking it and measuring it and including it in your story so that you can be certain that the impact that you have set out to have, you're actually meeting that goal.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for that. Jacob?
I'd say on the impact, set very realistic goals on where you want to go or how much you want to impact the community. Make it easy for your team to be very strategic in how you communicate impact, and finally coordinate it on your year-to-year calendar by what time do you want to achieve what, and especially on the impact. Thank you.
Thank you so much. A big round of applause to our panelists. We have some reaction buttons down there. We can send them a thumbs up or a clap or even some, yes, thank you. Yeah, so I think just to close up the session, I really want to say a big thank you to the panelists. I mean, I have 3 pages here, which I could definitely try to summarize the session, but you know, one of the key things that are coming out is your online presence. You have to be found online. Being online builds your credibility to different funders and your customers. It also helps enhance relationships with your customers as well, and also helps you to collect feedback to continuously innovate and disrupt your sector. And looking at the digital platforms, in summary, is that internally it helps to strengthen your processes and reduce overheads. And when you reduce your overheads, you're able to now channel all those resources into the key business activities that actually generate revenue for the organization, and that is marketing and service delivery. Looking at sustainability, you know, be clear on the business goals of your business, you know, have your commerce or your business goals, and also have your impact goals, because social enterprises are designed in a different business model. And then also think beyond financial sustainability. You know, even one of the participants has even reiterated that you're operating within a community or an ecosystem. Be mindful of that. Research data. You have to keep looking at your data and find gaps and opportunities that your business can actually tap into. The other final one was on the impact. Data really is the mirror that we'll use to really assess whether you're making impact in your business, and that if you're really creating impact in the community that you're serving. If you want to scale your impact, develop relevant partnerships that are aligned to your business goals. Always refine your story. So we all need to go back and take a storytelling course so we become better storytellers. And then also the other thing, I just kind of summarized it, is looking for the relevant associations, right? And I like what Ngui said about like-minded, to find like-minded people to amplify your voice. So alone you might be having a very small voice, but when you join an association or a like-minded organization, such as the B Corp certified group or community, then you're actually able to amplify what you're doing. Like what Esther said about widening the scope of your project, just to be able to tap into those different opportunities, and even what Jacob was talking about in terms of being strategic on how you measure your impact and even how you communicate it. So I think a big thank you again to the panelists. Really, I mean, I've really enjoyed the session. It's been great being a moderator and just helping us really get those tips and tools and the practical ways that we can actually begin using digital tools and even the digital strategies to really enhance our competitive advantage and also improve on our own internal organizational processes. A big thank you also to the CESOC team. This is a pre-webinar that is supposed to touch on the larger conference that is happening soon, and I think Matilda will just touch on that as we leave. But really, thank you so much, everyone, for being here. And I now hand over to Matilda, maybe for the final logistics and maybe a bit about the conference that's coming up.
Mercy,
Yes,
let me just interrupt, because that Daniel put a message here in how can we he amplify for us in Norway, and I just like him to put his contacts so that we can get a hold of him. I don't know if Matilda already has his contacts, but it would be great to have that email address or something. Thank you, Daniel.
Thank you so much. Like I said, it's supposed to be a networking platform. So yes, there we go. A collaboration has really been formed. Over to you, Matilda.
Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. We are so grateful to our panelists and the moderator. Great work. We actually look forward to such engagements because this actually builds us up as entrepreneurs. And we actually look forward to more of these sessions that are coming up. So I'll hand over to Bill, our communications intern, to guide us through the upcoming events, at least the closest, and then also the Social Enterprise Day, which will happen in November. So Bill, and then he'll give us a thank you and close up the meeting. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Matilda. I'd like to thank all the participants, our moderator, Mercy, thank you very much. That was very engaging. The panelists, thank you. I think everyone has had something to take home from this session. It was very, very engaging and informative. Just to inform you, next we have a night talk in October. It will be on October 6th. And then in 18th of November, we're going to have the Social Enterprise Day, which is going to be both virtual and physical. So it is going to be hybrid. You are all welcome. And just I'd like to thank everyone for participating and joining on the webinar. Thank you very much.
Thank you and good day. Bye-bye.
Good day, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you. All of you. Thank you.